more that you hit down on the ball with your driver, have a descending blow, you're gonna have a low launch and high spin. That's gonna get it to carry the least far in the air, and also because of the high spin rate, not allow it to roll out a whole lot. The best drivers on the PGA and LPGA Tour are gonna hit slightly up on the golf ball. Rory's a great example, with high launch angle, low spin, maximum carry, and then on top of that, maximum rollout. So
So while that was a pretty decent shot down the middle, 104 miles an hour swing speed, that attack angle was 7.2 degrees downward. So the resulting carry was 228 yards of carry, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong, and the total yardage was 254 yards. So that shot, while playable, is not near optimized. And if I've made people smile with TrackMan, it's by modifying their attack angle, and they can see it right away in the carry and the total. So let me hit a shot, same speed, same guy, and let's play around here with attack angle. And then I'll put in a coaching element for you here so you understand this a bit more and you can apply it to your own game. So if we hit down 7 degrees at that speed, let's see if we can modify that just a little bit. So this is a big difference, and I really didn't even hit that solid. So that attack angle went from hitting down 7 to hitting up 1.8 degrees. That carried 240 and went 262. So that's a huge difference in carry and in total yardage.
Angle with the driver that I'm going to look at is ball position. Ball position is the easiest way to influence our attack angle, since obviously attack angle is simply telling us where the low point of the golf swing is relative to the golf ball. The further back the golf ball is played in our stance, if all things remain equal, that's going to equal a more negative attack angle. So you'll see in our two examples here, the swing on the right, I've got the golf ball more in the middle of my stance, while the swing on the left is kind of up here towards the left heel, which would be kind of more an advisable position for the driver. You can also see how the golf ball position affects my setup here. So when the ball is more in the center of my stance, my shoulders tend to be a little bit more level, while if the ball is more forward, it tends to add a little bit of spine tilt. So because of a simple adjustment in setup, what you'll be able to see here with these two golf swings, and I tried to keep the swings relatively similar speed. Obviously the one on the right got a little quicker on me, but you can see with that golf ball more centered, that's going to lead to an attack angle of minus 8.6. With the swing on the left, when the ball is more forward, I was able to hit up on the golf ball slightly. So our differences are roughly 8 degrees less launch angle when the ball is further back here. Ball speed remained pretty constant, but because of the extra launch angle and decent spin rate here, I was able to carry this golf ball almost 30 yards farther and pick up about 20 yards more of distance. So obviously if you look at your ball position and it seems like it's in a good spot, let's look at some other factors that could be causing this negative attack angle. But if you look at your ball position, it seems like it's a little too far back. The second cause of a negative attack angle with the driver that we're going to look at is not having enough body tilt at impact with the driver, or what most people would say, getting ahead of it. So what we'll do is look at two swings I've made here again. The swing on the right, what you're going to see happen is as I work into impact, you can see I've drawn this circle around my head here. As I work into impact, you're going to see me leaning a little bit towards the left with my upper body at the top, and then what you're going to see is my upper body and my head has kind of crept ahead of that circle, so that when I get to impact here and I draw a line kind of up my left thigh here and towards my upper body, you're going to see there's not a lot of upper body tilt here at impact. So it's basically forming a straight line here. So because of that, that's going to cause the bottom of my golf swing to be much more forward than where I would like it here. So you can see here that led to an attack angle of 9.5 degrees down, so obviously creating extremely low launch. So even though I hit this golf ball pretty solidly, it's only going to fly 190 yards or so in the air. On the swing on the left here, what you should see is that as I swing down, you're going to see my head actually move slightly back, which a lot of players will have that happen here with driver. So now if I draw a line up my left leg and then up my upper body here, now you're going to see I have got more tilt away from the target here at impact. So my upper body is a little bit more behind the golf ball. So I felt like my hips were going to move forward, but my upper body was going to feel like it stayed just a little bit more back. So we don't want to feel like we're hanging back with our weight distribution. We just want to feel like the upper body stays back a little bit more. So when I can create a little bit more of this secondary axis tilt here, my attack angle now improves to 1.3 degrees positive. You can see club head speed was about the same. Launch angle again dramatically higher. Spin is at a decent rate here. It's actually very low on this one. Ball speed is actually fractionally less, but because we altered these impact conditions here, you can see the huge difference, almost 40 yards I was able to pick up in total yardage. The final potential cause of negative attack angle with the driver that we're going to look at is what we call dragging the handle, or you can think of it as too much shaft lean at impact. So once again, when we look at the two example swings that I've made here, the swing on the right, you're going to see as we approach impact, you're going to see the hand staying well ahead of the club head. So we're really leaning the shaft here through impact. So you can see as I get to impact here, my glove is almost outside of my left leg. So I've got quite a bit of forward shaft lean here. So when we have the shaft leaning too much forward like it is here, that's usually going to create a negative attack angle. It's moved the bottom of the swing farther ahead of the golf ball than we want it. So what you see here, it's kind of becoming a trend with all the swings that I've made here. When this attack angle becomes extremely negative, for me here, it's going to lead to a very low launch angle. So even though I hit this golf ball very solidly, had a smash factor of 1.48, because it's launching so low, I'm only going to get a carry of about 200 yards here, total distance of 240. The swing that we've made here on the left, I felt like I released the club head and allowed it to catch up with my hands a little bit more. So you'll see when I approach impact here, you'll see that my hands are basically in the middle of my body here, and the club shaft is much more vertical. So I've released it a little bit more at the bottom. I don't have as much forward shaft lean, and so with similar club head speed here, I've actually been able to increase my carry by 45 yards here. So the attack angle moved from 8 degrees down to 2.7 degrees up. So all
Today we're going to talk about tee heights. How high should you tee up your driver? Well, if you go out of a textbook, textbooks aren't usually correct, but you go out of a textbook because not everyone's the same size, same swing, same flexibility. So, out of a textbook, half the ball should be above the top of the club. That would be right there, would be the textbook height. And that's probably the height that I'd recommend for most golfers. Me, on the other hand, I tee it up 4 inches. Because I want to swing up at the ball because I'm trying to create a spin rate to make my drive go further. If your swing, the steeper you have your swing, the lower you're going to tee it up. If you have a lot of marks on the top of your driver right up here, that means you're really steep at the golf ball. That means I would tee it down lower. If you want to get your swing, which I would recommend getting it a little flatter this way, more round, then you can tee the ball up higher. But for standard, average, you want half the ball above the top of the club when teeing it up.
Take a sleeve box, just a box. You don't want the golf balls in there. Pro V1s, good golf ball. And put the box down a club head width in front of the tee. You'll notice I've got the ball teed up. It's one of those regular, longish tees. I've teed the ball up fairly high, and I'm going to place the box a club head width out in front of the golf ball. Now, as soon as my club head starts to traverse down into the shot, I'm going to make contact with the cardboard box. I'll get some feedback. Certainly it'll make a noise, but I'm not going to hurt anybody or anything doing that. So let's give it a try. Sleeve box empty, a club head width in front of the golf ball. I'm going to set up. I want to try to, at address, feel like I'm going to tilt back away from the target ever so slightly. And let's take a look.
Go ahead and tee a ball up. You want it about 1/2 to 3/4 of a ball above the crown. You don't want it any lower than that, or it's going to be easier to hit down. Take 2 alignment sticks. You can buy them here at the Carlsbad Golf Center. You can also buy them, even at Home Depot or Lowe's, they have those sticks. And this one right here, you're going to put behind at an angle slightly above the crown, about 6 inches, so that you have to swing underneath it. This other one we're going to place about 6 inches in front, and that's going to keep you wanting to swing up through the ball. So it's kind of an under to over feel. A couple other setup kind of keys or ideas is we want to play it forward in our stance, off the inside of the left heel or even a little bit more forward. Nice relaxed grip pressure. And then finally, we got to get a little tilt. So the more that you can get your upper center or chest behind your lower center or belt buckle, the easier it's going to be to hit up. So I'm going to demonstrate with these simple keys and this setup station how you can hit up on your driver. So ball forward, nice and relaxed hands and arms, little tilt, and go ahead and try to make a swing staying behind the golf ball. That's kind of your main thought, is can you keep your head back so that you can hit up on this golf ball.